Your alarm goes off at 5 a.m. You hit snooze. You always hit snooze. But somewhere out there, right now, someone who started with less than you, less money, less opportunity, less connections, less support, is already awake. Already moving. Already building the life you keep saying you want. And the gap between you and that person is not talent. It is not luck. It is not intelligence. It is 1 hour. Maybe 2. And what happens inside that hour will determine everything. That is not motivation. That is biology. And once you understand what is actually happening inside your body at 5 a.m., you will never look at your morning the same way again. The answer is far stranger than you think. Because waking up early is not a habit. It is not a discipline. It is not something that only certain types of people can do. It is an ancient biological switch your body has been carrying for hundreds of thousands of years, a switch that modern life taught you to ignore. A switch that your ancestors never stopped using. And the moment you stop ignoring it, everything changes. Not slowly. Not eventually. Everything begins shifting the moment you make that first choice to rise before the world wakes up. Here is what nobody tells you. For 99% of human history, your ancestors did not have alarms. They did not have curtains. They did not have streaming services keeping them up until 2 a.m. They did not have blue light flooding their retinas from handheld screens at midnight. They woke up with the sun. Every single day. Not because they were disciplined. Not because they had morning routines or journaling practices or cold plunges. Because the sun told their body to wake up, and their body listened. That signal is still inside you. Right now. Waiting. It has been waiting your entire life. Your body produces a hormone called cortisol. Not the stress cortisol you have heard about, the kind linked to burnout and anxiety. This is different. This is the morning cortisol surge, a natural, precisely timed biological alarm that peaks between 6 and 8 a.m. in most humans. Researchers at the University of Trier in Germany found that this cortisol surge is not random and it is not accidental. It primes your focus. It sharpens your decision-making. It activates your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for planning, willpower, creativity, and goal-directed behavior, and it puts that part of your brain into its single highest state of daily readiness. Here is the problem. Most people sleep through it. They stay up late. They disrupt the cycle. Their cortisol surge fires at 7 a.m. while they are still unconscious. And by the time they finally drag themselves out of bed at 8, 9, or 10 a.m., that biological window has already closed. The peak has passed. The sharpness is fading. The hormonal gift your body prepared for you, the same gift it prepared for your ancestors every single morning so they could hunt, build, plan, and survive, is gone. Not because you were lazy. Because you did not know it existed. But now you do. Now think about the man who wakes up at 5 a.m. He does not know any of this science. He has not read studies from German universities. He just knows he is poor. He knows his family is struggling. He knows that every evening when he looks at his life, something is missing and he is the only one who can change it. He knows that waiting has not worked. He knows that hoping has not worked. So he wakes up early. Not because some book told him to. Not because a motivational video changed his life. Because it is the one thing that costs nothing. It requires no money, no connections, no permission from anyone. It is the 1 hour of the day that belongs entirely to him before the world starts asking for pieces of his time, his energy, his attention. That hour is not empty. That hour is a biological gift he is finally choosing to receive. Researchers at Harvard Medical School found that people who aligned their waking time with natural light cycles showed measurably higher cognitive performance in the first 3 hours after waking. Not slightly higher. Significantly higher. The kind of difference that compounds day after day. The kind of difference that, over months and years, produces completely different outcomes from the same starting point, the same city, the same background, the same set of circumstances. Same person. Different schedule. Completely different life. The man who wakes up at 5 a.m. does not just get more time. He gets better time. Sharper time. Time when his brain is running at biological peak capacity before the noise of the world floods in and starts pulling his attention in 20 different directions. Think about what the world looks like at 5 a.m. It is quiet. It is still. There are no emails demanding immediate answers. No phone calls. No social media notifications. No colleague with a problem. No family member with a question. No one needs anything from you yet. The entire world is asleep and you are awake inside the most focused state your brain will be in all day. That silence is not just peaceful. It is protective. It is a wall between you and every single distraction that will consume your day the moment everyone else wakes up. Your brain at 5 a.m. has not yet been hijacked by other people's priorities. Every decision you make in that window is yours. Every thought belongs to you. Every plan you construct, every page you read, every action you take, it all happens inside a mental environment that has not yet been contaminated by urgency that is not yours. Psychologist Roy Baumeister spent decades studying willpower, and what he found will change how you see your entire day. Willpower is not a personality trait. It is not something you either have or you do not have. It is a finite resource. It depletes with every decision you make, every conflict you navigate, every distraction you resist throughout the day. By evening, most people have almost nothing left. That is why discipline collapses at night. That is why you reach for the phone, the snack, the episode you told yourself you would not watch. Your willpower is exhausted. Not because you are weak. Because you used it all up on 100 small decisions before you ever got to the things that actually matter. But at 5 a.m., your willpower is full. Completely full. Untouched. Whatever you do in that window, you do with maximum mental resources. You exercise harder than you would at 7 p.m. You read more deeply than you would after a long day of work. You plan more clearly, more boldly, more honestly than you ever could when your brain is already worn down. You build with a mind that has not yet been ground down by the 1,000 small demands that a normal waking day places on you before 10 a.m. And here is where it truly compounds. Because 5 a.m. people do not just get more done. They experience less stress. They feel better. They move through the day with more steadiness. Researchers from the University of Toronto found that morning people report significantly higher levels of positive effect throughout the day compared to night owls with the same total amount of sleep. Not a little higher. Significantly higher. The same hours of sleep. The same person. A different relationship with when those hours happen, and completely different emotional outcomes as a result. Your body has a rhythm. It is called the circadian rhythm. It is not a suggestion. It is not a wellness trend. It is a biological command system embedded so deeply into your cells that your heart, your liver, your immune system, your hormones, and your brain all operate on it simultaneously. It has been running inside every human being for hundreds of thousands of years. When you align with it, everything in your body works better. When you fight it, when you stay up past midnight, when you sleep until the sun is already high, when you jolt yourself awake with caffeine instead of allowing natural light to trigger your cortisol, you are not just a little tired. You are chemically impaired. Your reaction time slows. Your emotional regulation weakens. Your ability to make clear decisions deteriorates. And the cruelest part is that you have been living that way so long, you have mistaken it for your personality. You call yourself a night person. You say you are just not a morning person. But that is not your identity. That is a disrupted biological rhythm you have been maintaining for years without realizing the cost. You are not slow. You are not unmotivated. You are not someone who was just born without ambition. You are out of sync. And the moment you come back into sync, everything you thought was a character flaw begins to dissolve. Now imagine what actually happens when you start waking up at 5 a.m. Not in theory. In real life. The man wakes up. It is cold. It is dark. His body does not want to move. He sits at the edge of his bed for a moment and he makes the same decision he made yesterday and the day before. He stands up. He does not check his phone. He does not look at messages or news or anything that belongs to someone else's world. He makes coffee, sits down in the quiet, and he opens a book. Not scrolling. Reading. 1 book per month means 12 books per year. In 5 years, that is 60 books on business, on psychology, on history, on people who built something extraordinary from nothing. His neighbors are still asleep. He is being educated. He is not smarter than his neighbors. He is not more talented. He is not starting with more. But he is awake, and he is choosing to pour his peak biological hours into deliberate growth instead of passive rest. Then he exercises. Not because he loves the pain of it. Not because he has a gym body or a fitness goal pinned to his wall. Because he has started to understand what physical movement does to his brain in the morning. Neuroscientist John Rady at Harvard Medical School has studied the effects of exercise on the brain for decades, and what he found is extraordinary. Morning exercise increases the production of a protein called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. He calls it miracle grow for the brain. It literally causes new neural connections to form. It accelerates learning. It improves mood not just for minutes but for hours after the workout ends. The man exercising at 5 a.m. is not just getting fitter. He is making his brain structurally better before his competition has even opened their eyes. Then he plans. He sits down with a notebook, not a phone, not a laptop, a notebook, and he writes 3 things. Not 10. Not a full task list. 3 things. The 3 most important things he will accomplish today. Because at 5 a.m., before the day has made any demands on him, he can see clearly what actually matters. He has not yet been distracted. He has not yet been flooded with other people's urgency. He sits in silence and he decides what he is building. Then he goes and builds it. The days stack. This is the part nobody talks about. The compounding is invisible at first. Nothing dramatic happens in week 1. He wakes up tired. He is cold. He second-guesses himself. His body is recalibrating. Sleep researcher Till Roneberg at Ludwig Maximilian University of Munich has shown that it takes 21 to 30 days for the circadian system to fully shift and stabilize around a new waking time. The first 3 weeks are genuinely hard. They are biologically hard. Not a personal failure. Not a sign that this is not for you. A sign that your body is doing something real, something structural, something that will last. And then, around week 4, something quietly shifts. He starts waking up before the alarm. Not because he forced it. Because his body, trained by weeks of consistency, begins its cortisol surge earlier. His brain starts preparing for the day before he even opens his eyes. He is no longer dragging himself out of sleep. He is being lifted out of it by his own biology. The alarm becomes a formality. The morning becomes something he looks forward to instead of something he dreads. He has not changed his job. He has not gotten a raise. He has not found a mentor or moved to a better city or had some breakthrough moment where everything clicked. He has simply reclaimed the hours that were always biologically his and started using them the way his body was designed to use them for the entirety of human evolution. 1 year passes. He has read 12 books. He has exercised more than 200 times. He has spent 365 mornings building plans and executing on them before the world woke up and started competing for his attention. He has had 365 uninterrupted hours of peak cognitive time dedicated entirely to his own growth and goals. He speaks differently. He carries himself differently. He does not feel poor anymore, not because the money is all there yet, but because his relationship with himself has changed. He has stopped being someone who reacts to the day. He has become someone who shapes it. People start to notice. Not because he announced anything. Not because he posted about his morning routine online. Because something about him is different. He is calmer. He is clearer. He follows through on what he says he will do. Opportunities find him not through luck but through competence, because every morning for a year he practiced showing up, planning clearly, and executing with focus. He became the person opportunities look for. His income grows. Slowly at first. Then faster. His confidence grows. The way he handles problems changes. He does not panic the way he used to. He does not feel overwhelmed the way he used to. Not because his problems got smaller. Because he got larger. Mentally, emotionally, biologically larger. He expanded into his own potential by simply reclaiming the mornings that were always his. And here is what makes this different from every other story you have heard about hard work and discipline and waking up early. This is not about willpower in the traditional sense. This is not about gritting your teeth and suffering through discomfort to prove something to yourself. This is about understanding your own biology well enough to stop fighting it and start using it. Your body wants to wake up with the light. Your brain wants that peak cortisol window to be used for something meaningful. Your circadian system is trying to give you a gift every single morning. A biological edge. A cognitive advantage that requires no money, no equipment, no special knowledge, no connections. Just the willingness to receive it. The distance between where you are and where you want to be is not filled with talent you do not have. It is not filled with luck you have not received. It is filled with mornings you have not yet claimed. Think about what you could build in one focused hour every day. Not a distracted hour. Not an hour where you are half watching something while you half work. One truly focused hour at the peak of your biological capacity. In 1 year, that is 365 hours. More than 15 full days of your sharpest possible thinking, your most disciplined effort, your clearest planning, all directed at the one thing you most want to build. What would 15 days of your absolute best self do for your life if you applied them completely, without interruption, without distraction, without exhaustion? You already know the answer. The man who changed his destiny did not discover some secret that is unavailable to you. He did not have access to resources you lack. He simply stopped sleeping through the most powerful hours his body was designed to give him. He stopped hitting snooze on his own potential. He stopped letting the world's schedule become his default and chose instead to live on the schedule his biology was built for. This is not a story about waking up early. This is a story about reclaiming ownership of your own life before anyone else gets a chance to set the terms. At 5 a.m., the world has no claim on you yet. No one is asking. No one is demanding. The day belongs entirely to you. What you do with it before anyone else wakes up is the single most powerful variable in the trajectory of your life. Not your background. Not your circumstances. Not the hand you were dealt. What you choose to do with the hours that are already biologically yours. Tomorrow, your alarm will go off. Maybe at 5 a.m. if you choose it. Maybe at 7 or 8 if you do not. And in that moment, half awake, warm, comfortable, your body will send you every signal it knows how to send to keep you horizontal. That is not weakness. That is your nervous system doing its job, conserving energy the way it was programmed to in a world that no longer exists. But you are not that ancient human anymore. You do not need to conserve energy for a hunt. You need to expend it on a future. Your future. The one you have been thinking about, planning for, hoping for, and delaying because the morning always feels too cold, too early, too hard. It is not too early. It is exactly the right time. Your ancestors woke up with the sun for hundreds of thousands of years. They used those first hours to do the most important work of their survival. You have the same biology. The same cortisol surge. The same peak cognitive window. The same ancient clock ticking inside every cell of your body. The only difference is what you do when it rings. Wake up at 5 a.m. tomorrow. Not forever yet. Just tomorrow. Sit in the quiet before the world wakes up and feel what your body feels like in that window. Feel the clarity. Feel the stillness. Feel what it is like to exist in time that belongs completely to you. And then ask yourself honestly what you could build if you chose to feel that every single morning. Because the answer has been waiting for you since the very first morning you ever hit snooze. And it is still waiting now.